Shanghai in 2025 remains prosperous on the surface, yet carries a subtle stillness. The once bustling malls are now nearly deserted, the glory of the real estate market is a thing of the past, and a sluggish consumer market has slowed the economic pulse of this city. Today, we will use real data and examples to reveal the truth behind China's economic downturn and explore how this crisis impacts every corner of the nation. Real estate, once the backbone of China's economy, has become the core of the current crisis. A 30-year-old IT worker in Shanghai shared his plight. He purchased a 95 square meter, three-bedroom apartment in Pudong's Zhuqiao area at 58,000 yuan per square meter, totaling 5.5 million yuan. His down payment was 2 million yuan, with a 3.5 million yuan loan, requiring monthly payments of 19,631 yuan over 30 years. However, the collapse of the real estate market has left him in despair. His monthly salary dropped from 30,000 to 20,000 yuan, and his apartment remains unfinished due to the developer's bankruptcy, a stark symbol of being trapped in deep waters and scorching flames. A World Journal reports that approximately 30 million middle-class families across China have purchased unfinished apartments, their hard-earned savings locked in incomplete concrete structures. Over the past 20 years, the real estate sector accounted for 17% to 30% of China's GDP, but in 2024, real estate investment fell by over 10% year-on-year, with sales plummeting even further. The debt crises of Evergrande and Country Garden were the starting point of this storm. According to the New York Times, since 2023, the real estate slump has directly suppressed consumer spending, with people lacking confidence in the future and choosing to keep their wallets shut. As the Dragon Boat Festival approaches, China's consumer market feels no festive cheer, with many merchants lamenting dwindling foot traffic and desolate streets, describing this as the toughest year they've ever seen. On May 26, a Guangxi shopkeeper, Uncle Da Kunpeng, posted a video on social media saying, "This year is even tougher. The Dragon Boat Festival is almost here, but business is dead." He added, "It's tough. Making money this year is harder than ever. Just days before the festival, no one's coming in. I've never seen such dire times." On May 27, a pork vendor shared a video saying, "This Dragon Boat Festival meat's hard to sell. It's barely 8 a.m. and the streets are already empty." A female clothing store owner also lamented in a video, "I thought the festival would bring more customers, but only 1 or 2 people come in daily. The streets are so quiet. Where have all the people gone?" A liquor and tobacco shop owner posted, complaining, "There's no festive vibe anymore. The Dragon Boat Festival is coming, but no customers are stepping in. It's just too tough." Some videos show China's consumption downgrade, with people skipping restaurants and flocking to cheaper night markets for meals. At Suzhou's Namen Market, the price of apples has fallen from 16 yuan to 10 yuan per kilogram, yet buyers remain scarce. Recently, plummeting durian prices have frequently made headlines, drawing consumer attention. Tropical fruits like durians, mangosteens, and coconuts from Southeast Asia are in peak season. Chinese consumers have noticed that the king of fruits, durian, has dropped in price by 20 to 30%. According to Daily Economic News, at Beijing's Sinfadi wholesale market, Thai golden pillow durians began hitting the market in mid-March, with prices steadily declining and sales booming. A month ago, 100 to 200 yuan. Now it's down to 730 to 780 yuan, a near 5% drop. Durian wholesaler misdrop. Lin stated that the recent surge in durian supply is the main reason for the price drop. As durians enter their peak season, more Southeast Asian durians flood the domestic market, naturally driving prices down, with wholesale markets moving thousands of jin daily. Chao News reported that on May 24 and 25 in Hangzhou's malls and fruit shops, durian prices dropped to as low as 19.8 yuan per jin, compared to 40 or 50 yuan when first listed, a virtual halving. On May 25, Miss Li, shopping at a large supermarket on Qingchun Road in Hangzhou, said durians are now much cheaper than their earlier 30-something yuan prices. "I used to hesitate to buy them, but now I can enjoy durian freedom," she said. Many supermarkets and fruit shops have slashed prices to the 20s, with some smaller stores offering durians as low as 19.8 yuan per jin. Data from the Ministry of Agriculture's National Wholesale Market Price System shows that since May, the average wholesale price of durians has dropped steadily, reaching 51.38 per kilogram by May 23, a 25.8% decline from April's 69.26 yuan. At a Hangzhou wet market, a vendor said durian prices began falling over 2 weeks ago. Golden pillow durians now sell for 22 yuan per jin for grade A fruit and 18 yuan for grade B, compared to 50 yuan per jin previously. These are rock bottom prices, according to the New York Times. China has been grappling with 18 consecutive months of deflation, with prices for food, clothing, and other goods steadily declining. While lower prices may seem beneficial to consumers, this is a symptom of an economic cancer. Shrinking corporate profits lead to lower wages and slower hiring, creating a vicious cycle. A survey by Japan's Hakuhodo Institute found that 80% of Chinese consumers admit to consumption downgrading, opting for cheaper products or avoiding non-essential purchases. On Xiaohongshu, posts about frugal living surged fivefold from 2023 to 2024, with users discussing how to celebrate the new year on a tight budget, such as making homemade festival goods or buying unbranded. The luxury sector is also taking a hit. 80% of Chinese consumers have cut back on luxury purchases, pushing international brands to seek growth in the U.S. market. U.S. Economist David Huang notes that rising pressures from healthcare, education, and retirement costs are forcing people to prioritize essentials, severely limiting consumer spending power. On X, user BingLiu073809 wrote that Chinese people are not spending, not borrowing, not investing, not buying homes, and young people are even avoiding marriage and children, while savings hit record highs. This lying flat mindset reflects deep pessimism about the future, further exacerbating the consumer slump. On XK, Epoch Times cited U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, warning that if the U.S. imposes tariffs on China, the country could lose 10 million jobs overnight. Shrinking export markets, especially U.S. tariff barriers, are crushing export-dependent businesses. China's National Bureau of Statistics claims a 5.4% GDP growth for the first quarter of 2025, but this is starkly disconnected from reality. The Epoch Times reported on May 7, 2025, that the Chinese Communist Party has stopped releasing hundreds of economic metrics, including land transactions, foreign investment, business confidence, and even soy sauce production reports. This data blackout makes it hard for the world to see the true state of the economy. On May 17, 2025, the Epoch Times noted that retail consumption in Beijing and Shanghai has fallen nearly every month for the past 15 months, contradicting national claims of consumption growth. Expert Shi Tian explained that export data, which must align with other countries' import figures, is harder to manipulate. The China Containerized Freight Index (CCFI) shows a sharp drop in shipping prices from January to April 2025, with exports to the U.S. down 20% year-on-year, signaling weakening export momentum. Ex-user A2 Bodhisadaba wrote, official data looks rosy, but people aren't spending freely, businesses face cutthroat competition, loan rates are falling, and savings desires are unprecedentedly strong. These views reflect widespread public skepticism about official figures. Since 2024, China's government has poured trillions into stimulus measures, including a 410 billion trade-in subsidy program to boost consumption. BBC News reports that retail sales grew 4% in the first 2 months of 2025, but falling home prices continue to erode confidence. World Journal warns that if the yuan devalues to counter US 60% tariffs, it could trigger capital flight and shift from deflation to high inflation, a risky move. Citibank predicts that tariffs could shave 2.4% off China's GDP in 2025. The New York Times notes that China accounts for over 40% of global economic growth. Its slowdown impacts global commodity demand, from Brazilian soybeans to Italian luxury goods. Economist Hu Weijun warns that as the world's top commodity consumer, China's economic woes could drag down the global economy. China's economy in 2025 stands at a crossroads. The real estate crisis, consumer slump, rising unemployment, and obscure data paint a grim picture. Government policies struggle to break the deadlock. Radio Taiwan International suggests the economy needs to shift from a mad bull to a steady ox, focusing on long-term stability. But for ordinary people, saving money has become a way of life, and confidence is a luxury. What do you think of this economic crisis? Please share your views in the comments below, and let's discuss what lies ahead for this nation.